Hey guys, welcome to Bucket List. I'm Raji and today we are going to be seeing my review of a book which was published in 2008. But even today the hype remains. Yes, I'm talking about The Palace of Illusions by Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni. I read this book in 2009 when I was like in ninth grade, and I read it almost 12 years later again, and a lot of my thoughts and perspective about the book has changed. So I'm going to talk a little about the book quickly and then move on to three things that I loved in this book and three things that I didn't like in this book. In the longest time of Indian history, Mahabharata has always been told from a very male centric point of view. But this book, The Palace of Illusions, is Mahabharata from the point of view of Panchali, better known as Draupadi. This book comprises of all the important scenes from Mahabharata, but the tone of the book is very emotional because it is from the point of view of Draupadi, who is a very emotional person. The emotions including love, hatred, vengeance, and everything in between. It was very insightful to read. According to Indian mythology, King Draupadi prayed the gods for a son in order to take vengeance on all his enemies. And that is when his son Drishtadunya is born. But along with him, there is a dark skinned little girl who is emerging out of the fire, right? And everyone is shocked. But that girl, that little girl, is our Draupadi. Growing up, our Draupadi confides in only three most important people in her life because those are the only ones who are close to her heart. The first one is her caretaker, Daima, and second is her brother, Drishtadunya, whom she also adorably calls as Dri, and third, her only friend, Krishna, who is also an incarnation of a god. And when it is time for her Swayamvar, Draupadi's father sets up a very difficult task for the future husband because of a political, very like strategic plan that he had in his mind. He wanted Draupadi to marry Arjun. As per the plan, Draupadi gets married to Arjun because Arjun wins, and when they go home, Kunti, who is the mother of Arjun, makes Draupadi marry all of his brothers. So now Panchali, Draupadi has 5 husbands who are all Pandavas. Since the time Panchali is born, she's been told that she is the woman who is going to create a history, change the course of time. And Draupadi keeps wondering how and what will happen. And that is the rest of the story. You will have to read to find that out. Now I'm going to move on to three things that I loved in this book and three things that I didn't like in this book. And this next section might have a little bit of spoilers. So if you haven't read the book and you really want to, please skip ahead. The first thing that I absolutely adored in this book is Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni's way of writing. Like, it's an epic tale. It's the longest story ever written in human history. And all the important scenes are covered in this 370, 380 pages. Like, that is mind blowing to me. And also, it didn't feel rushed at all. The pace of the book slowed down when it had to and picked up the pace when it had to. And I really thoroughly enjoyed the storytelling of this book. The second reason is the Karna Panchali love angle, and this is the reason why many of the readers actually hate this book so much. But in my opinion, I think every author has creative freedom to include fiction. Like, when the book is published, it is told that it is historical fiction. So I don't really understand why the haters are so like hateful. But I basically just loved the Draupadi and Karna love angle. Not only because he is the sixth Pandava, which is revealed toward us at the end, but also because um, like Draupadi's marriage to her five husbands was very political. She had no emotional decision in it. So I feel that Draupadi is actually free to love whomever she likes. And Karna, I can't think of a better option to fall in love with. Like Karna, who is left by his own mother at birth and then grows up without knowing anything about his roots. Like he knows nothing about where he comes from. And then he is often like miserably treated by all the other people in the country, and then he is cursed by his guru. So in spite of everything, he learns how to be a good person, and it proves that no matter what really happens to you, you can always decide whether you want to be a good person or a bad person. So Draupadi falling in love with Karna is like, it seemed to me like it was very natural, and also maybe because the readers also fall in love with Karna a little bit, because it is written from the perspective of Draupadi, who adores him. The third thing that I absolutely adored in this book is the intricate relationships between all the multitude of characters in the book. Like, for example, Panchali's relationship with all her five husbands. Like, even though she was not in love with all her five husbands, it was like a political arranged marriage, she knew how to behave with each one of them. She understood them deeply and had the basic respect for all of them, and understood each one's strength and weakness, and very logically, critically lived her life and still got what she wanted. Like, I'm not saying Draupadi is a good person. She's a very morally grey person, but that is also one of the things that I adored in this book. Like, a main protagonist doesn't have to be a perfect, like, good character. She was flawed and she was proud about it, which is, I think, awesome. Like, and also the, like, all the relationships written in the book, the relationship between Draupadi and her brother Dreep, and how caring the bond is, and also Krishna. I'll talk about it later. And like everyone, every single person is very beautifully developed, and the depth in each character is actually very heartfelt. Now let's move on to the three things that I didn't really like in the book. So the first one is a small complaint that I have to Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni, because it's not only in this book but all her other books that I've read as well. So the complaint being, I am always left, wanting more out of the book. Now, I'm not saying it's because it's not detailed enough or it's not like that well written. It's brilliant, it has all the details. But I'm just like wondering if there is more to it. Like, I'll just explain with an example, all right? So, we know that Draupadi has only one, like, brother slash best friend, Krishna. And the conversations between them both is absolutely so beautiful that I can't just like stop wondering if that is all there is to their relationship. Like, how about they play a game or like have a casual talk? Like, that is, I feel it is missing, because like whenever Krishna appears in this story, he comes as an advisor and a help to Draupadi, and even though Draupadi knows this, she still loves him and all that, but there is, I feel like there could have been a little more depth to that particular relationship. And even like we see small snippets of different characters, including Narada, and even I was very surprised to see Hanuman in this story. But they're all like, I don't know if it's just because Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni's writing is so beautiful, but I'm always just left, wanting more. The second thing that I didn't like in this book, or I actually didn't understand in this book, is Draupadi's take towards feminism. There, I said it. Growing up we see that Draupadi questions the sexism that she faces in her own family. Like, I can understand that she was not allowed to go horseback riding. She was not allowed to, have a formal education like Drishtadunya, who's her own brother, because she was a girl. Like, she was required to learn cooking and art and dance, which I believe was the custom during that time. That is fine. But our protagonist, Draupadi, questions everything in sight. Like, why is Dri allowed to do it? Why is my brother doing it? And why can't I do it? Like, she was very interested in education. But we see her question these things. But as she grows up, we can see that her take on like equal rights just vanishes, and she is very absorbed in her vengeance, that her basic character seems to change during her course of life. Like, I didn't understand that. Like, the third thing that I didn't like in this book or in the epic itself is how it's very easy for us to say that Draupadi caused the Mahabharata war, or the war between Ravan and Ram could have been stopped if Sita didn't cross the line. Like, no, I don't get that. I feel like that's victim blaming. For example, in the Kaurava court, when Dushasan and Duryodhan and Karna begin to disrobe Draupadi, how come nobody stopped them? Isn't it natural for you to want to help a woman being disrobed? Nobody did that. But the vengeance that Draupadi got for that embarrassment caused the Mahabharata war. No, 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 no. I did not really like how some men in the story did very questionable bad things and they were not held responsible for it. But of course, that is why the war takes place, that is why they die in the war and all that. I get it, like they were served the punishment. But even today, let's please stop saying that the Mahabharata war was caused by Draupadi, or the Lanka war with Ravan was caused by Sita. No, the reason is Duryodhan and Ravan, who were the villains. So let's just get our perspectives right. So that is it for my review of The Palace of Illusions. I am currently reading another book by the same author, which is The Forest of Enchantments by Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni. Now, I have already finished reading this book just last year, but whenever I start making a video for this book, I start crying because this book is like 100-star rating for me, and I absolutely adore it so much because it's Ramayana from Sita's point of view, which is going to be live on this Sunday. I'm going to finish the book almost, and I will post a review this Sunday, no matter what happens, no matter how much I cry. All right, so stay tuned for this. So that's it for today's video. I really hope you liked it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel so that you get notified every time I post a new video. I'll see you guys this Sunday. Okay, bye.